This is the result that we got here. Take a look. I don't know if you can see that, but just looking at the signs, it looks pretty clear already. Hey guys, welcome back to another RestoreMySneakers.com video. I'm your host, the Camera Guy, and in this episode we show you how to use that soles. Now, to keep this video short for most of you, what we decided to do was just show you one technique that you can use to restore your shoes. And that involves the outdoor restoration technique that many of you are familiar with already. So let's go ahead and watch that tutorial and get started. Now, this is the preparation technique that I'm going to show you that you can use for both techniques 1, 2, and 3. Technique 1 being the outdoor technique, technique number 2 is by the window, and number 3 is indoor lights. So this is how I prep the shoes. What you're going to need is obviously a pair of Jordans or whatever that has clear sole on it, in particular the Air Jordan 11s. You want to make sure that you've washed and cleaned this off with soap and water and it's been dried off. Do not work with dirty soles. Next, you're going to need a type of styrofoam container or any type of container to hold the sauce in, and also a paintbrush. You can get a paintbrush at any art store or even at a department store or whatever is easy for you to get. They're not too expensive. This is going to be necessary. You're also going to need sauce. Now, this is our own blend that's been bottled, and we'll talk about this sauce at the end of the video, so don't worry about that. Some other things you're going to need is aluminum foil, cling wrap. You're going to need a small box. You're also going to have to make some cutouts that go over the traction pods, like so. So I have a cutout for this one, cutout for this one here, and also a cutout for the carbon fiber, like so. So you have cutouts that go over this. And the reason for this is so that you reduce the surface temperatures that you're going to experience when you put the shoes outside. It's very important, and I'll go over that later as well. Last but not least, for our more advanced users, you're going to want to purchase an infrared temperature reading gun. Most won't need this, but if you don't want to experience sole separation or you want to try and avoid it, you're going to need one of these because it'll help you read the surface temperatures and help you make better decisions while you're working on your shoes. And one last thing that I didn't mention is, for safety, you're going to want to use some type of rubber gloves to protect yourself when you're working with the sauce or even the original Retro Bright gel formula at all times. It's very important you have this. So for this particular blend that we have, you're going to want to shake it first and then just pour it out. It's pretty simple. And for our case, we're just going to pour it into our container and just tightly close the bottle. Next, just take your paintbrush and just kind of get some of the sauce on there. And what you want to do is apply a generous layer of the sauce on the shoes. And another way to think about it is you just want to make sure you cover all the dry spots on the sole of the shoe when you're doing this. So you should have medium coat over the entire sole of the shoe. Now, one thing you need to avoid is getting any of the sauce on the traction pods. You don't want to get any on there, here, and you want to avoid getting it on other parts of the shoe as well. So that's why you want to use a paintbrush to control the amount of sauce you put on the shoe. So right now I've already finished saucing the shoe. So it has a pretty medium layer of sauce on it. It should kind of look glossy. Next you want to do is find some sort of prop. I use this water bottle to prop the shoe. The next thing you want to do is get your little cutouts. Okay. And then put a little piece of tape on the back so you can kind of place this on there. Just hold it up like this. Then one for the carbon fiber. So it should look something like this. Okay. I finally have the paper cutouts with the traction pods in place and the carbon fiber area as well. The next thing you want to do is get the cling wrap and cover the sole of the shoe. This part's really tricky, so be careful when you do this. You're going to want to extend the cling wrap a lot farther than the sole of the shoe. Okay, a lot farther. And then just sort of press down on the cling wrap. Next, you can start tucking in the cling wrap onto the patent leather, because the cling wrap naturally will stick to it. So that's really good for us. And then just sort of make sure it clings on there, which is what you want. Obviously, you want to cut the excess end here. It's always important to have more of the cling wrap at the end. Just makes it easy for you. So I'm going to take the front part, I'm just going to tuck it in like so, and then just continually press the wrap onto the patent leather. This will make sure you don't get any of the sauce onto the patent leather. Well, it'll do its best. It'll help prevent getting any of the sauce on there. At most you might get some of the sauce on the midsole, but I haven't seen any major problems of getting it on the midsole, but you still want to avoid it regardless. Now the next thing is you need to make a contraption to hold your shoe. So I just used a small box that I got from Amazon. I filled it up with some socks here as filler so it holds the shoe in place. I've also aligned the side panels with aluminum foil. The reason why I do that is because I want the sunlight to reflect onto the edges of the shoe. One of the big things, or one of the issues that many people experience when either seagulling their shoes outside, is that they get this entire midsection cleared, but the sides stay yellow. So by using aluminum foil, what it'll do is it'll bounce the light onto the sides of the shoe. Really, you just want you want the UV rays to bounce off of the aluminum foil and hit areas that aren't visible. So here's what I'm going to show you right now. Is I'm going to take another piece of aluminum foil and just sort of prop it at the front and just sort of bend it in place, so it kind of has a nice round shape to it. So that way it's hitting the front part of the shoe. And then I'm going to use this other piece here for the back. Back side here. And I'm also going to use another one of these on this side here. And you can modify this technique. You can change it up however you want it. It's up to you. Then you can use tape to put that stuff down, but I think little clips work best. I mean, these are cheap. You can buy these at dollar stores or whatever, and just attach it. The reason why you want to do this is that it gets windy outside, and what'll happen pretty quickly is the stuff will start to fly off, and you don't want that. So there you go. This is the preparation technique that you'll use for technique 1, which is the outdoor technique, and also for the indoor technique. So let's go and take these shoes outside. So we took the shoes outside. It's about 8:30 in the morning. It's not too hot. It's still pretty cool. And one of the things you need to be concerned about is the temperature. You don't want to put the shoes outside midday when it's really hot in your area. So the best time to work on it is probably going to be in the morning. Now what I have here is a infrared temperature reading gun, and it's useful because you can monitor the surface temperature of the soles of the shoe. Now right now I'm getting readings of about 86 degrees Fahrenheit, which isn't too bad. If you start getting temperatures at around 120, 130 degrees on the surface, that's probably a good time for you to bring the shoes in and call it a day and try it again in the morning. So we're going to leave the shoes out for about 30 minutes and see what we get. Alright guys, so the shoes have been out for about 30 minutes. So what I want to do right now is just do a quick sole separation check and just push against here. I don't notice any problems yet. And just putting my hand over the entire surface, it is getting kind of hot. Next I want to do is run a temperature read with the temperature reading gun and just kind of do a quick scan over here. And you know, I'm getting reading temperatures close to about 110, 113 degrees Fahrenheit. So I might want to just keep this out for another 30-minute session and call it quits from there. So we're going to try and leave it out for another 30 minutes and see what we get. Alright, so we've had the shoes out for about a total of an hour, a little more than that. And we're going to do a quick run check here. So we're getting temps of 120 near the carbon fiber area of the shoe. So at this point I'd probably call it a day already. I know for most people you can probably work on it longer if the temperatures are a lot lower in your area, but for us, temperatures climb very quickly and it makes it very difficult to work outside. So what you want to do next is actually get a little bit of warm running water and use a toothbrush to brush away the sauce from the shoe. And be careful not to get any of the water on the upper or the midsole. So just take your time. The stuff comes off pretty easily, but it has a tendency to kind of stick in the grooves. So just do your best to kind of clean it off with the toothbrush. Next, just dry the shoe. We're using a paper towel. You can obviously use a cloth to do this as well, which will probably work best, but we don't have one at hand right now. Just make sure to dry the entire sole of the shoe as best as you can, because next we're actually going to let the shoe air dry or put it in front of a fan to dry it off. This is the result that we got here. Take a look. You know, I don't know if you can see that, but just looking at the sides, it looks pretty clear already. Looks really nice. The underside, however, you know, it still has that yellowing here. That isn't too bad, honestly. Most people are going to notice the sides of the shoe. Now you might be wondering, well, how did the shoes look before? Well, this is how they looked before. The one on the right is how it initially started. That's how it kind of looked like originally. These are some side views here. Bottom. It was really yellow up here, but now if you look at it now, it isn't too bad. Down here as well. The heel area is doing pretty good, but really the sides are doing really well. The question you might ask, well, how many sessions did we use to get to this point here? You know, to get these results. It took maybe about 4 sessions. Probably take about 4 to 5 sessions to get to this level, going from this, taking your time. Alright, so we did take our time doing this. We did the 1 hour session, 1.5 hour session a day in the morning, and we eventually got to these results here. So I'm sure if you rushed it more, you'd probably get these results faster, but as I said, you do risk sole separation by doing that. Now many of you are probably really excited about the results that you just saw. One thing I need to let you know before you start working on your shoes is something about temperature and how it works. Now, there's 2 different types of temperature readings you need to be concerned about. One of them is ambient temperature and the other is surface temperature. The ambient temperature is the air temperature. It could be 90, 95 degrees Fahrenheit where you are, but when it comes to the sun hitting the soles of the shoe, the surface temperature could almost reach 120 and 130 degrees Fahrenheit, if not more. That's why we have to use an infrared temperature reading gun to sort of find out what those temperatures are. Based on our experience, 120 degrees Fahrenheit is probably the last point at which you want to work with your shoes. If you go beyond 120 degrees, you are going to risk sole separation at one point or another. Now, if the shoes are still new, they're still brand new, you'll probably get away with no problems. But if you continue to work on your shoes for prolonged periods of time at temperatures above 120 degrees, sole separation will occur. Now, one question I want to address that we got quite a bit was, is this stuff better than Sea-Glo, the blue stuff? That's something for you to decide and determine, but what I can say is that the Retro Bright Gel formula works great on yellowed midsoles and yellowed rubber soles, as well as clear soles. The Sea-Glo formula doesn't really work too well on midsoles. It's really meant for clear soles. So if you're looking at a product that works on multiple things, Retro Bright Gel does work. Now you guys might be wondering what this is. We showed it in the video and we said we'd talk about it. Now we've been researching and testing a new blend to find out if this blend is more effective than the original formula. Now let me tell you something about the original formula. To make the Retro Bright Gel, you have to buy a handful of ingredients, which cost a lot of money. You could end up spending $50 to $60, and most of you realize that. Now there's also an alternative variant that's out there that uses 3% hydrogen peroxide, cornstarch, and OxyClean, which costs under $10, which is pretty cheap. And most people are getting great results with that. You may want to try that. But if you want something that's convenient, that's ready to go in a bottle, this product works great. It's not clunky, it applies like paint, and you don't have a shelf life of 3 days. You can pretty much use the product right out of the bottle, just shake it, use the product, and you should be good to go for as long as you need to use the sauce for. If you're interested in getting this product, you can visit our website. It should show up somewhere here on the screen, but make sure to use the description box below to click on the link and it'll take you there. There's an order form that you can fill out. Now we're taking both PayPal and money order. Just to let you know, when you fill out the form, it doesn't complete your order. It just puts you on a waiting list. We will then email you the information that you need to know to complete and final your order. Now, I do recommend that you get on this as quickly as you can because I feel that most people are going to buy this. Now, how much does it cost? We wanted to price it competitively to Sea-Glo, the blue stuff. If you go online on eBay, you can find a 4-ounce bottle of Sea-Glo for about $20 to $25 shipped. If you go to the Island Girls website, you can find a bottle for almost, I think, around $19 plus shipping. We're going to price our 4-ounce bottle at $12 plus shipping. If you live in the US, we are using priority mail 2 to 3 days at $5 flat, whether you order 1 or 3 bottles. $12, it's going to be $12 per bottle plus a flat rate shipping fee for up to 3. Another question you're going to ask is, how many shoes can I work with just this bottle? If you use the technique that we showed you, you can probably get away with restoring 2 pairs of Air Jordan 11s at most. I'm being honest with you. I'm not trying to sugarcoat the results. Now, it doesn't just work on clear soles. This blend also works on the same yellowed midsoles, the same yellow rubbered soles. It addresses many different sneaker problems. Now, before I go, I just want to let you know we're still going to be uploading the other 2 techniques that I haven't shown yet at a later date. And whenever we come up with a new technique on a new pair of shoes that the product actually works on, we'll also be sharing that information as well to you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to stay tuned for our next episode.